Well guys, we're back here at the Bray Group Stadium for the first time this season for another episode of the O Show, and I'm excited for this one. Let's get started. So, it's a special one today guys, as we're going to be checking in with Employee of the Year and Unsung Hero Colin James. We'll be finding out just how he makes that pitch out there look as good as it does. Let's go find him. So here we are out in the hallowed turf with our head groundsman Colin James. Colin, thank you very much for joining me today. So we're just going to kind of look to what actually goes in on a day-to-day basis about this pitch. It's looking pretty luscious, but it's looking in pretty good nick at the moment. Did it have a good old renovation in the summer?
Yes, the last 2 years we've done a lot to the pitch. 2 years ago we concentrated on the drainage, which we sorted out by putting a lot of new drains in the pitch, and end of last season, for the start of this season, we concentrated on strengthening the pitch by putting a lot more fibre sand into it, stripping the top off, even though it looks really good end of the season. Loads of people ask, why do you rip the pitch up? If we don't, it won't look as good the following year. We have to strip it off to put some fibre into the pitch to strengthen it up, to push on for next season, give it a clean surface, aerate it, reseed it, and away we go again.
And so as like a professional, you know your stuff. Is it looking in good nick to hold up over the winter as well, do you think?
Yeah, I'm pleased with it. I compare it to last year's pitch, which was very good, and we're in a better position at the moment. We've only had 19 games on it. We're only just starting to touch into end of the summer, start of autumn. So we've got the bad weather coming yet, that will test it then. But at the moment, we're in pretty good position.
Nice. So shall we head out there and have a look and see what goes on in a day-to-day? So obviously we had a Tuesday night game here against Crewe Alexandra. I'm interviewing, it's the Wednesday here. What's been going on today? How do you look at restoring it after a game?
Straight after a game, the following day, we will clean the pitch up, which would come out with their little rotary mowers, and we will then suck up any broken bits of grass, debris, divots that have come out. This is literally, you're hoovering the pitch up, you're cleaning it all up to get you back to a clean surface like we've got to now. Then we spend the following day putting all the divots back, the scratch marks, boot marks that have been causing any damage, reseed any areas and top dress any areas before you can move on to the next stage of then preparing it ready for your next game, if it's the following Saturday or following Tuesday. And you must also spend a lot of time on, I'm looking up and down it now, you know, the lines. I bet people ask you all the time, what is it with the lines, the patterns? Well, a lot of people ask how you get the patterns on and why do you do it. Literally the way the patterns go is the way we push the grass with the mowers. So the light stripe is the way we go with the mower. So it's got a light stripe going down the pitch, and then it's reverse coming back up. The pattern I've got here is a very basic pattern. A lot of the Premiership clubs years ago used to put all these fancy patterns all over the pitch. Well, they've stopped them doing them now. They just go back
Why is that?
There was, if you can cast your minds back to Leicester, John up Leicester put a lot of good patterns on the pitch, and Andy down at Southampton put some very, very good patterns on the pitches, and I think it was down to the officials complaining that the linesmen, when they look across the pitch, they're getting confused with offside decisions with the different patterns where they can look down a straight line and they can see if defenders are onside or offside. So you can have this style pattern, any width for your bands, but it's got to be a straight up and down across pattern now.
Because I remember a dig as well on the playoff final back in 2014. We had the circles on the pitch, didn't we? And then and we had the V last year.
Yeah.
But is that completely out your hands now?
No, we can do that in the Football League, as Premier League, that have really put a blanket ban over everything. But we can still put patterns in we want. But I'm a traditionalist, sticking to the up and down and across pattern, chessball pattern.
So we're over by the office now, Colin. We're going to have a look at a few of your toys, shall we say. We'll go from smallest to largest. I think this one's maybe a little bit more self-explanatory, but guessing it's a lawnmower?
We've got two style mowers. This one is a Honda mower, Cobra mower. It's what we clean up with straight after the game. Okay. When we clean up, this is the one that acts just like a hoover. So we go over these and it just sucks everything up off the pitch, keeps it nice and clean. Then when we start cutting for match days, we move on to the bigger Dennis mower, G860, which is a lot wider with a cylinder inside it, so it cuts it like scissors. Yeah. So you cut in the pitch rather than this one's a circular one. This is one that puts your pattern on the pitch and all your stripes. Okay. It's got a roller on the back, so it flat rolls it as well.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say this one doesn't quite look like one that you'd take to your back
You
garden.
wouldn't use that in your back garden.
No.
It's a little bit big. It's got a big long.
Nice, but shall we move on to the slightly bigger one as well, bigger and better? What's this one over here? And there's a nice story behind this one, isn't there?
This one's the Toro Procore. This is the aerator. This just punches holes into the pitch.
Yeah.
And this is the machine that the Supporters Club donated the money to pay for this just over about a year and a half ago, which is it's probably the best bit of kit I've got. It's a fantastic machine.
Yeah.
And it's worth every penny that the Supporters Club donated to us for.
It's the aerator, is it?
Aerator, yes. At the bottom down here is the tines, and they punch into the ground,
Okay.
which opens it up, which allows for drainage and aeration to the pitch.
Right, so we'll head into your office, your actual office inside. So you've got a big load of equipment here. What are those huge brooms for up there?
The brooms we use on the pitch to brush the pitch. Where we keep rolling the grass in one direction, if we want to get it to stand back up, we use those to brush the grass the opposite way, and they're quite a stiff bristle on it, so it gets the leaf and that standing up quite well. And we've got bigger ones over the back that we use for in the mornings when it's really dewy and wet. We go over the pitch and we try and knock off as much dew as you can to try and stop diseases coming into the pitch more than anything, because the grass lays down too much when it's standing up, air circulating around the whole plant, to try and stop diseases.
That's really like intricate, isn't it? Like I would never have thought your football pitch could get a disease. It sounds quite.
There's a lot of science that gets involved in it, so it's there's certain things throughout the course of a year that you have to do to the pitch more than others. So now we're coming, say, towards autumn, we're getting dewy nights and mornings. Like half time yesterday, the players didn't have more water on the pitch because the dew was coming in, so it was wet enough. So when we start in the mornings now, we have to give the pitch a brush before we can get out there with the mowers.
Do you chat with the players then and say like you said they're at half time and they'll
Yeah, I chat to them when I first
in regards to the pitch, not just in regards to chatting to them. So if they want it differently, they chat to you about it.
I mean, I cut the pitch as would as the grounds, and we cut to the correct height. We're at 25mm, which players like, but it's mainly about watering. We put water on before they start their warm up, and then I go out on the pitch, or someone will come over and say I want a bit more on it, or that's fine now. And usually I want more water on just before kick-off, so we give the sprinklers a 2 or 3 minutes throughout the whole length of the pitch. And then I nip into the dressing room at half-time to see if they want it topped up again or not. So again, depending on weather, if it's a real hot sunny day on a Saturday, you have plenty of water on it. We're now slowly creeping into cooler nights, so they're not going to want as much on during the course of the game.
So just coming round here now, looking at, you've got even more equipment. It's like a treasure cove. You do the lines as well?
Yeah, we've got the white line marking machine. I have 2 of those. This is a wheel-to-wheel one, which we're using this season at the moment, and I've got another spray one just around the corner, so we have 2 as a backup. We've got the frost sheets that are rolled up over there for the winter. They will go down if we get frosty nights coming in. We have a spray machine, so we can spray chemicals down in liquid formula as well as granular formula. We've got a tractor over the back there, which is an old farm tractor, which is a little bit dated, but it still does a good job.
Where does this equipment come from? I know we've got the heat lamps as well. That you see on social media that different investment comes from different places. The Supporters Club have helped with the lamps as well and the frost sheets, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, the Supporters Club have donated money over the course of the year since I've been here to help with bits and bobs around. They're always willing to come out, and if you need anything, give us a shout. We're happy to donate to help my cause as well. We've got heat lamps around the back of the stadium. I mean, they'll be coming out very soon again because of the nights are coming in. We've also got the rain sheets that the club bought a year ago. Hopefully, touch wood, we've not had to use those for the last season because the drainage has now been corrected and put right. So as long as they stay around the back and not being used, that's fine with me. But we're building up a nice little collection of equipment here, and I mean, it has to be all funded. It's not cheap. So it's any donations from the Sports Club have been fantastic. And Nigel and Kent have also, they put a lot of money into the pitch in the last 2 or 3 years since they've been here.
Nice. Well, these are the tools, but let's go and take a look at the pitch and see the canvas itself. Let's go. And so obviously, as I say, it's looking in pretty good nick anyway. But we've got a game, a week and a half now. Have you got much preparation work to do in advance of that?
Yeah, we do. I mean, once we've cleaned it up and we got it back to how I want it and re-div it again, we'll aerate the machine with the pitch with a Toro Procore come out. We'll put that over it. Get some holes in it, get some air into the pitch. It's had quite a few games on it recently. We had a few training sessions, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday, and another game Wednesday. So we get it back to a more flat, healthier style pitch. Then we start looking at the start of the week before we play Port Vale. We cut the pitch every day. We come out with the big mowers, we give it a trim every day, and we start Monday, Tuesday, putting the pattern back in the pitch. Depending on weather, it's heavy related to the wet weather where we get. And then come later part of the week to Thursday, Friday, we start cutting the actual patterns in neatly for the game. We string line across the pitch and lengthways when we're cutting, so we get a nice sharp, clean pattern on the pitch. The Friday will be a double cut, so we cut both ways. First will be a lengthways cut, and then we'll go across all in one day and get it marked out. And then again, depending weather-wise, if it allows us, we'll cut Saturday morning before the game for the final preparation and get it down to the length that we want it for the players on match day.
There's so much work goes into it. I know it's obviously it's a football pitch. It's not small. It's not just you on your own, is it?
No, I've got an assistant tailor. He's been with us for just over a year now. He's on holiday at the moment, so I'm on my own. But yeah, he's a young lad. He's learning and he's doing well, so he enjoys it. So it's two of you makes it a lot easier. To cut the pitch on your own, it takes just over about 3 hours. With the finishing mowers, with the little Honda mowers, you can treble that because they're just a very small little mower. So two of us out of it, it's not too bad.
But I'm guessing your turf at home, does it look anything like this at all?
No, a lot of people ask. I bet you've got a lovely back garden, but no, I've got a dog. And the dog puts holes in it, rips it up, and especially when you've been out on the pitch all day, cutting for 3-4 hours. The last thing I want to do last night is go and get the lawnmower out and start cutting the grass. I'd rather cook dinner for the kids and the wife.
Nice. Well, I think we should probably get off of it. Don't walk on it too much more, and we'll let you get back to work. Thank you very much for joining us today, Colin. It's been a pleasure. Well, thanks for joining me today, guys, and thank you very much, Colin James, for such an insightful piece. Didn't realise just how much work does go in here, and we'll see you next week for another instalment of The O Show.